Hello friends, so welcome back. So last time we started with the chapter history, chapter 5, print culture and the modern world. So in that first topic we have taken, and now today we are going to discuss about part 2 of this session, and in that we have included topic number 2, print comes to Europe, right? So if you are new on this channel, so kindly you can get the link in the description box, or either you can search out previous lecture by typing Thakor sir, or you can type the title print culture and the modern world, so you can find my previous video. Okay, so as usual, let's have 2 minutes revision. So अब तक हमने देखा recap. So in that we have seen, in our first part we have seen about the introduction of the chapter, then the earliest kind of print, in that several kind of question, what is calligraphy, where was the earliest kind of print technology developed, right? So that all we have seen, and in that we have seen that how the print reaches from China to Japan. So in that session, instead of Japan, I have spoken twice or thrice print reaches to China. So make a correction there. Instead of China, there should be Japan. Okay, now coming to today's point. So today we are discussing part 2 of this chapter 5, print culture and the modern world. So in that we have the topic print comes to Europe, right? So from the East Asian countries, how the printed material that has reached to the different part of Asian countries, from there to Europe, and finally it reached to India. So how it has reached to Europe? So from the Silk Route. So Silk Route, by the 10th and 11th century, the Silk Route, one of the route through which several kind of commodities and several kind of needed things were transported from one place to another place. So from the Silk Route, papers that reach from China to European countries in the 11th century, right? So during that time, as the papers were available, so during that time manuscripts were written by the different scribes in European countries, right? In Europe, manuscripts were written. What do you mean by manuscripts? One mark question, right? So manuscripts were the papers written by the people, right? And generally they were using the palm leaves and thin, very porous kind of papers, handwritten print. So that is called the manuscript. So manuscripts were written by the scribes. Scribes means the writers, those who were writing these manuscripts, they were known as the scribes. So how this woodblock printing reaches to the European country? So here we have one mark question, that Marco Polo, who had been to China for several years, he had been to China, exploring China, and he returned to Italy in the year 1295. And he brought the woodblock technology, woodblock printing ideology to the European country. One mark question, how the question comes. How did the print reach to European country, or who brought print, woodblock print technology to European countries, right? So, and when? So Marco Polo, he was one of the explorer who had been to China, and he went back to his own country in the year 1295, and he brought the knowledge of woodblock printing and introduced to the European country. Now from there was a great spread of the woodblock printing into the different parts of European country, right? Now, so woodblock printing was in existence after 1295. So we can consider that was 12th or 13th century. So then also luxury editions were made for the high class people, and they were done on expensive vellum. What is vellum? So vellum, generally here the word is used for the skin of animals. So a parchment made from the skin of animals. So woodblock printing was done on the skin of the animals, and that is known as the vellum. So that were very expensive. So luxury editions were written on the vellum. Now merchants and students in the university towns bought the cheaper printed books. So there was a great demand of the printed books, but still the printing was done through the woodblock only. There wasn't any new technology which could produce maximum number of the books, right? Okay. Now you have in your textbook the second paragraph that demand for books increase. What are the reasons behind that? So the reason is that maximum number of students and leisure activities, likewise how we discuss in context to China, the same way here too the demand of the books increase, and that is why how the problem of the demand was sorted out. So in European countries they started exporting books from the different countries, right? Different countries they started, and books fair were also held. Production of the manuscripts were also organized. So to meet the demand of the manuscripts, they organized the manuscript production, organized in a systematic way. So more and more books could be produced and the need of the people could be satisfied. But again, there were several disadvantages of manuscripts that could not satisfy the demand for books. Here comes very important question. What are the drawbacks, or what were the drawbacks of manuscripts? What were the limitations of manuscripts? Right? So what to write in this question? So manuscripts were expensive. Copying was very expensive, and that is why it was really difficult to hire the scribes for the publishers and the producers of the books. Moreover, it was extremely laborious task and time consuming task. It was not so easy. It was lot of time consuming task. Then they were very fragile and awkward to handle. So manuscripts were so fragile that it could not be handled, and that is why when it could not be read out very properly. It was very difficult to even lift or to open a simple page because it could be torn out. It was very fragile, awkward to handle. Could not easily carried and read easily. Limited circulation, as they were very fragile, could not be circulated easily and to the far places. Woodblock printing became popular, right? So as these are the various limitations of the manuscripts, so very rapidly the woodblocks printing became famous in European country. So during the 15th century, woodblocks were widely used in Europe. Then also it could not satisfy the great need of the books, right? So they required the faster and cheaper production of the book, because woodblock was also time consuming, which could not be fulfill the demand of the books of the people. So they required something faster and cheaper production of the book. They required the new invention and the new technology, right? So necessity is the mother of the invention. So likewise here too, as there was a great need, so there was a great need for the faster and cheaper production. So the breakthrough occurred in Strasbourg in Germany in 1430s. John Gutenberg, he developed the first printing press, right? One mark question here, that who developed the first printing press, when and where? So that was the year 1430s. John Gutenberg in Germany, Strasbourg in Germany, he invented the first printing press, right? Okay. The next point you have about Gutenberg and printing press. Answer in detail. Write a note on John Gutenberg. So, who was he? So, he was a son of a merchant. He had seen wine press and olive presses. So, generally, wine presses, so to extract the oil from the olive oil to be extracted. So, for that, they need to be pressed. So, such presses he had seen, and he got the ideas that how the alphabet molds could be pressed and could be got the image of that alphabet. He learnt the art of polishing stones, and through this learning of polishing stones, he had learned to format or to mold the alphabet, and he became the master goldsmith. So goldsmiths generally they are designing the trinkets, ornaments, and giving different shapes. So here too he became the goldsmith, and he utilized his idea and his innovation in making of printing press. Okay, so lead molds of alphabets, so he had used in that, and he made the new innovation, metal types for the letters, and finally in the year 1448 he perfected, after several years of struggle, innovations, changes, and he perfected this first printing press in 1448, and he printed first book, that was Bible. It took around 180 years, 180 copies could be printed within 3 years. It took 3 years to copy 180 copies of Bible, right? So that was the beginning of the new innovation and new invention. Now, then after new question you have in your textbook, you have the next paragraph you have. So that is about that the new existing technology could not displace. How the question comes in exam? Existing technology could not displace the old method of producing books, right? So what are the reasons that, however, the printing presses were into existence, then also the old methods were not totally displaced, and old methods that continued for the production of books. So what were the reasons? So luxury editions were printed on vellum. Moreover, several designs were also done manually, and particularly holy words in Bible, they were highlighted, illuminated by hand only, manually. So this is what, it could not totally displace the old method of the production. Okay, so how the question comes here, again I repeat that the existing technology could not totally displace the old method of production. Why? Because the spaces were left for the design, illumination of the words, and several other things were decorated manually. Okay, so this is what about the existing technology. Now here point 2 that gets over here, and now when the printing presses and printing technology developed more and more, so that led to the print revolution. That led to the print revolution. And this print revolution, what is print revolution? So the gradual shifting from the manual printing to the mechanical printing, that is called the print revolution, that has changed the world, that has brought so many changes in today's world, and it had a very great impact on the social, economical and religious lives of the human being. It has changed the total modern world. It has shaped the modern world, right? So this print revolution and its impacts, we shall continue with this point in our next part. So again, I repeat, if you are interested in any particular chapter or point, you can leave a comment, circulate this to the needed students, particularly class 10th CBSE students. You can search out the previous part or this part by typing just in YouTube Thakor sir, or you can give the title print culture, and I hope you will find my channel. So please do like, give your suggestions, feedback and share with the needed students. See you soon. Thank you so much.